Okay, my friends, here it is. The Monday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Thrive Like a Viking headquarters, which is also the Travel Like a Viking headquarters. So let me know how it's going, where you guys are, and let me know what I'm saying on the sound check. It's a beautiful day today. All right. So, yeah, a little bit late today because trying to get all this new technology happening. You know, 5x5 Nate. What? What's that mean? Okay, Jody K. Good. Thank you. Sounds good. Yeah, trying to get all this new technology happening. I just got a stand, sit to stand desk, which is going to be awesome for the back and for the mind because it is really difficult as a content creator to sit there for so long. As many of you guys know, that is not a good thing to be doing. Okay, we're not designed to just sit there motionless for hours on end, just moving our hands and our fingers like that. So yeah, that's been the hardest part for me. Coming out of the mountains in Northern California back into this life, then, I was working every day, physical labor, out there in the beautiful, pristine wilderness, drinking spring water. Then I come back, and all of a sudden, I'm totally compelled to start social media stuff. And so that's been the biggest transition to like sit there at a desk. But it's for a greater purpose because the message has to be told. So we got to do what we can. So I invested in this kind of a keyboard, several weeks ago. I'm loving it, absolutely loving it, so that I don't have to cram my hands in there. And I got this kind of a mouse, guys. A vertical mouse like this has been phenomenal. It's in like a handshake position. So you really want to pay attention to that kind of stuff, guys. If you are spending any significant amount of time editing or researching and stuff like that, you need to make it as ergonomic as possible. I got this really good seat right here, which is it's for gamers, but you want to do all that kind of stuff, guys. No expense is too much when it comes to your well-being. And so, and now the desk, I just press a button and the desk goes and it rises up. So that's pretty cool. Just wanted to tell you guys that if anybody is wondering for themselves, if you have to do, it's well worth it. Okay. So let's see who is here. B. Hendricks says, I want to thrive. Well, then you're in the right place, my friend. Val says, me too. Of course. Yes. Wonderful. Papa McMuffin says, thank you. Thank you. John Saldana, hello, my friend in Colombia. Says, good morning, Thrive Nation. It's going on. Reporting from beautiful, sunny Colombia, South America. Yes, we are on the same time. We're on the same time, which is crazy. Yes, let us see. So, Jerry, hello, my friend, says, hi, all. I'm interested in how AI fits into the future of consciousness. Yes, we will discuss that. If I don't, after the meditation, if I don't automatically bring that up, someone bring it back up, okay? Because we will discuss. That's a fantastic question. How does AI fit into the future of consciousness? Well, the first thing that we have to understand is the difference between artificial intelligence and artificial consciousness. Now, they're two very distinct things. And so AI we already have, but artificial consciousness, well, we'll examine that further, okay? Because that's what everybody has in their mind. When they think of AI, they're thinking of artificial consciousness, which is, we are still, well, we'll discuss that later. So, okay. John Saldana says, that's actually a pretty good setup. Yeah, as someone who also spends a lot of time in front of, in the position, I'm sure you do similar kind of things. So, Donald Hughes, good to see you here, my friend. He says, I'm having a hard time accepting the fact that I'm 69 years old and the body won't do what I used to do, but the mind is still 40. Yes, definitely. Well, you are in the right place. You are in the right place. Remember, 3 things are absolutely guaranteed in this life: old age, sickness, and death. That's the 3 pillars of the Buddha. So we can examine that further as well, definitely. We're going to get into that kind of stuff today because after the last conversation that we had last week, a really good response. All right. So, guys, if you're watching this after the fact, leave the comments in the comments. Share your thoughts in the comments. Participate. If there's something that spikes your interest, then comment on that. All right. We want more participation. That's the fantastic thing. That's good for the channel, of course, but that doesn't matter as much as it's good for you guys to engage, because that's when the thought process, I know some of you have to just listen because you're driving or you're working. That's fine too. But if you want to get the most out of things, engage and activate the mind. That is what will produce the most profound results. All right. So hello, Nancy. Good to see you here. Excited for the upcoming growing season. Ms. T, good to see you here, my Texas friend. Says, high vibrations and positive energy to everyone. The moment you realize you are not present, you are present. We are all collectively in the now here. Yes, definitely. This is so true, my friends. So let's do the... Trish says, good morning, everyone. I was going to say that I missed you, but that's not accurate because we are always connected even when we're not in the live chat. Yes, this is the truth. This is the truth. And let us confirm this truth right now by dropping into a meditation. All right. It's going to be maybe 8 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. Let us just drop into the meditative state of mind. So many people are all over the world. We have Matthias in the Netherlands. We have John Saldana in Colombia. We have Pam in South Africa. Many people all over the world right now. So we can view this like different neural connections in a global brain in many ways. And when we meditate when we meditate this time, really keep that in mind. No, you don't have to think about it, but just keep it in mind as a reality and feel it. Feel the interconnectedness of all beings, of all things. And so realize that even though we're all over the world, and there's different time zones and stuff, time is made up anyways. And so it's all now. We're all here now. And you can feel this. So just keep that in your awareness. Let us take a few deep conscious breaths together. Breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Last one, fully in. Fill the lungs as deeply as you can. Hold. Let it go. Now allow the body to breathe however it wants to breathe. Allow the body, allow the moment, allow the mind, allow the activities of the mind. Everything that is happening in the environment right now, just allow it to happen as though you've wanted it to happen. Relax the body, relax the mind. Consciously go into the body and relax it. The face. Start with the face. Relax the jaw. Notice if you have tension in the jaw. I'm sure many of you have a clenched jaw without even realizing it. Relax the jaw and the neck, the shoulders. Just allow them to hang naturally. Breathing in, breathing out. Deeply relax. Now become aware of the sensation of air as it flows past your nostrils and into the body and back out of the body. The subtle sensation. Rest your attention only on that, nothing else. Many of you will find that the mind wants to immediately start chattering. The commentator in the head wants to start commenting. It's all right. Don't become frustrated by this. Just become aware that it's happening. And briefly label what you see, what you experience, and then let it go. Chattering mind, and then let it go. Or if you are planning or fantasizing for the future, say that to yourself in your mind. Fantasizing mind, planning mind, and then let it go. Whatever comes across the experience, you just watch it as though you are watching a movie. Breathing in and breathing out. There is no need to think of anything during this meditation. It is like a vacation for your mind. If you notice the mind is wandering away after only 1 or 2 breaths, this is actually quite normal at first. Don't become frustrated. Don't try to force the mind. That will only make it worse. Instead, just notice the mind has wandered away. Briefly label the quality of the thought, and then let it go and come back to the sensation of air as it flows in and out. Observe what is happening in the mind. Observe what is happening in the moment. Deeply allow it to happen. Embrace whatever form this moment is taking. Many of you, your mind has become still and quiet and clear, like a clear mountain lake early in the morning, perfectly still, silent, at peace, joyful, serene. This is a glimpse into your true self, the ultimate nature of reality is bliss. Together, let us take a few deep conscious breaths, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Last one. Fill the lungs deeply as you can. Hold. Let it go. As you come out of the meditation, take notice how nothing actually changes. The only thing that seems to change is where your attention takes you. But do you have control over this? Or are you along for the ride? Many of you will find when you begin the meditation practice, to your absolute astonishment, that you in fact do not control the mind. To the uninitiated or the unconditioned, the mind goes where it wants, and it pulls you in whatever direction it wants to. And many people go their entire life without even realizing this is the truth. And they say that it is my mind. They think that it is something they own. But if you truly believe this, if that's truly your experience, then command the mind to do your will. Just try. When we begin this examination process, all the assumptions begin to evaporate. And we see with more and more clarity, where do our thoughts come from? Can you choose your next thought? You have to ask yourself these questions, which are somewhat rhetorical, but then investigate within. Can I choose the next thought? Can you hold two thoughts at once? No. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable when we see that you do not actually choose your thoughts. And the more you become aware of the workings of the mind, this becomes crystal clear. If you were to choose your next thought, you would have to leave this thought. You would have to leave this moment, go into the future, and choose from an infinite number of thoughts which thought you want, and then bring it back into the now. But you can never do that, because by the time you become aware that a thought is present, it's already now. It's already here. It is already here. It is inevitable. This begins to deconstruct the conditioning of the mind, and we begin to see the dreamlike nature of this realm and of reality, and how everything that we think is solid about life are assumptions that are uninvestigated, and they only remain true or seem to remain true so long as they remain uninvestigated, unexamined. But once you begin to cultivate the powers of your mind and you direct that power into itself and say, what am I? Who am I? Importantly, where am I? Then it all begins to fall apart. And the true nature of reality begins to show itself. And it changes everything. It changes everything. And your life becomes a flow, a beautiful dance of energy, a never-ending flow of electricity. Okay, my friends. $20, Leland. Thank you very much, my friend. Says, made it to the first live in a while. Missed the live energy. Much love to the tribe. Definitely. Thank you for the contribution, my friend. Last week and this week, you guys got us over that $100 threshold. So I'm really glad about that, because then that means that YouTube don't keep the money. So now we're good. Okay. So thank you guys for everything. And John Saldana says, LOL, I'm 53 and I can't believe how old I am. Nate, I love all the content you are making. I just finished watching the video on addiction. Amazing. Thank you. Yes, guys, very, very important, addiction. And many people will watch that kind of video thinking about other people's addictions, thinking about, okay, well, this is good to know because my mom or my dad or my cousin or this person down the road, because they're an addict or they've got addictions and maybe I can help them. This is how the ego mind begins to examine a lot of things like that, instead of saying, what are my addictions? Well, I don't have any. I don't have any because, see, I go to work every day and I got a successful life and business and all this stuff, and I've got relationships in my life. So I don't have any addictions, you know. We should examine deeper. I'm not talking about you in particular, John. I'm just saying in general. We should examine deeper, and we can say, okay, what are the habit patterns? What are the habit patterns, and how am I using these things in my life? It's all about the examination. When we begin to examine our experience, all the assumptions that we've had our whole life, it doesn't matter if we're 53 or 93, it doesn't matter. We can hold these assumptions our entire life. And upon examination, it becomes clear. Vera Witch Lady, hello, says hi from Belgium. Sun was shining today, so I chose to enjoy it. Do you mean YouTube keeps the first $100? Yeah, they do. It's a funny thing. There's like a threshold. So yeah, this channel wasn't, hitting that. It was always just like $5 or $10 short of that each month. So so then they just keep it all, and I was, that's just horrible. That's unacceptable. So but now we don't have to worry about that because we're over the $100 threshold. So that's good. That's good. Okay, so guys, the topic of today is so you remember I read the question last week, all right? I read the question from my friend in Belgium, Bulgaria, and about okay, what are we supposed to do? How do we bring about the new earth? People are waking up. Okay, this is for sure. This is for sure. People are waking up, but what are we to do? And so I talked last week, hopefully you've watched that one, about the only thing there is to do that we can possibly do is to awaken. It is for the individual to awaken. All right. Now awaken from what? From the dream of selfhood, from the dream of the ego mind, from the dream of assumptions, from the dream that of assuming that I am just a separate entity in a vast ocean of other separate entities that has a tiny little lifespan. I am born, I exist for a little while, and then I die, and then whatever my belief about after death and all of that stuff all hinges upon the base assumption that this experience is real. Now, that's if you were so, but think about this, guys. Think about how, okay, if we were dreaming right now, let's say in the conventional sense, if this was a dream, right, and you knew it because you had somehow become lucid, but I didn't. How would you explain to me? What words would you choose that could possibly convey to me the reality of the fact that we are dreaming? I mean, how would you do it? Nothing you say can actually be it. Nothing you say can actually be it. And so you would have to like paint pictures. You would have to use analogies. You would have to just use things that point to maybe, and then sometimes maybe the people would wake up and realize, oh my God, we are dreaming. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I'm using this example. If this was like a classic dream, how would you explain to me? What words would you choose? Put it in the comments. I mean, try and put it in the comments. And because nothing that you would say, because I'm in the dream. I'm totally, everything I've ever known and experienced is in the dream. But somehow you became lucid and you realize this is just a dream. Now, a lot of people will say this can't possibly be a dream-like reality because, how could I be the creator of my reality? I don't have any awareness or experience of creating it. Okay, let us look at the dream again. The classic dream at night. When you dream at night, do you have an experience of creating the dream? But where is the dream happening? Where is the dream happening? It's all just kind of, you've created the dream. It's in your mind in the classic sense. But do you have an experience of creating it? No, but you are creating it nonetheless. And so in this same way, everything that happens to the dreamer in the classical dream, now it's real, it's relatively real from the standpoint of that dreamer, but ultimately, is it real? Last night when you had a dream, is that monster you were running from, or is that interaction that you had with your dead grandfather or something, which often happens to me, was that real? Of course not. And when you look at dreams, see, again, we have to examine deeper into it. We have to look deeper into things. So when you examine even your dreams, how does it happen? Your awareness in a dream, how does it happen? You don't consciously choose, okay, now I'm going to become aware, and then I'm going to not become aware. No, awareness just sort of happens in the dream, and you just show up on the scene, don't you? You just kind of show up on the scene. You come to and realize, whoa, okay, we're in a dream. For those of you that have become like lucid in your dreams, you just kind of show up. And if you examine again deeply, it's the same with this reality. Do you remember choosing to become conscious in any way? When did you sort of show up? You just kind of showed up on the scene in the same way. That's what spiritual philosophers and everyone, they talk about the dreamlike nature of reality. Eckhart constantly says this, the dreamlike nature of reality. So let us use that analogy and examine our experience, and everything becomes clear. Matthias says you only realize you're dreaming when you wake up. Yes, exactly, because only then do you have a point of reference. Until then, it's just the dream. It's the substratum by which you exist. Nothing else is real. Nancy says the same mind that created the problem cannot be the the mind that fixes the problem. Need new ideas and thoughts. Yes, definitely. Yes, and like the addiction, what we were talking about a moment ago is you have to fill that gap. You have to fill that space with something, okay? If you are addicted to substances and the ritual around substances, which the ritual can be, I was very ritualistic. And so all that time and all that energy and all that focus, it has to be redirected somewhere. So you have to fill that space with something. Cold training, contrast therapy, breath work, gardening, growing your own food, physical exertion, kettlebells, running, walking, something like this. Also, if your addiction is to work. Now, I have sort of realized the addictive nature of this of this kind of personality, and I allowed it for many years to sort of destroy my life. Slowly, it was destroying my life. But then I realized, and over a course of several years, learned to redirect those energies. Learn to redirect the energies. That's why this profession, social media, the gardening channel, and the other channels that will come about, all of that is ideal for me because it gives me a chance to really pour a lot of energy into it, because it's all the time. There's no time card that you punch and you're done. It's so you have to find things to redirect it towards. Yes. Sam Potzik says, I wonder if when we pass on, we have trouble remembering our lives, like the way a dream quickly fades upon waking. Yes, definitely. We should have a session about that. I have a lot to say on that. Okay, but the questioner from Bulgaria. So after the last video, last week, she emailed me or messaged me again and said, this was wonderful. Thank you very much. And okay, so we live from the heart. I'm paraphrasing, of course. She says, okay, so if we are to live, she said, I still have a question. If we are to live from the heart, as you say, and individually awaken, then why do you still do things like storing food and maybe ammunition or storing, prepping in some way? Then why still the need to do any of that? And that is because what we are talking about is deeper than that. It's the fundamental motivation behind everything. So the awakening, when you awaken to the ultimate nature of reality and the way that energy flows in this realm, and you step out of the way, meaning the ego mind steps out of the way, finally, the thinking mind that is questioning your activities and that is worried about things and, oh no, the state of the world and what is going to happen. This year's an election year. Everything hinges upon this election year. Oh, it's so important. It's so important. Everything, the fate of the world depends upon who's in the White House and all this. And they feel this anxiety inside. And then they look at any sort of news outlet and, oh no, okay, Tucker Carlson's gone to Russia, and then oh no, now the left is the Democrats and then the Republicans, blah blah blah. And there's no end to that, guys. There's no end to that. That is just the ego mind loves that kind of stuff because it gives it a sense of separation. It gives it a sense of separation. This is what the ego mind thrives upon, because it knows ultimately that it doesn't exist. There is no separation. There is no separation. Spoiler alert. There's no separation. But the ego mind must convince you that there is. And so the ways it does that is by contracting the energy and saying, okay, well, there's me with this set of beliefs and this set of ideologies, but then there's you over there that has a whole different life, and you live in Russia, and you've got, or you're a Muslim, or you don't pray to my same God that I pray to, because we're in the club, we're saved, so we got the golden tickets. So everybody else is out there, and they are all they are all less than. See, all this is the workings of the ego mind, and it loves to keep a separate sense of separation. Because if you realize the ultimate nature of reality, that there is nothing but the infinite mind of God, there is nothing but the interconnected web of life. You are inseparable from this. If it realizes that, then, oh no, well, it just evaporates. That's it. And then you see things as they truly are. And that's the worst fear of the ego mind. So it wants to keep you focused on things that will separate you from others. Problems. Eckhart Tolle says this all the time. And we'll get back to reading that book eventually, probably next week. But Eckhart says this kind of thing all the time, as well as many other people who have seen the truth. And they encode it in different ways. And so this is what the ego mind loves to do. It loves to create a sense that my problems somehow are insurmountable. Well, okay, there's all this stuff. This guy on, Nate's talking about this, okay, awakening and peace and all that stuff and infinite bliss, and there is no you, and what does that even mean? Okay, because what's really important is that, what the government is doing, they're going to make us eat bugs, and then they're going to, then I'm not going to own anything, and then the housing market's going to collapse, and then, no, my friend. We have to step outside of that, and we have to awaken. And when we do that, then we can see clearly what these things are. For one, they're ploys. Some things may be trying to happen, of course. We know this, but like I said last week, that's fine. If that's the World Economic Forum, that's their plan, that's perfectly fine. They're allowed to have a plan. But that's not my plan, and that's not going to happen here. So, well, now you have to register your garden. Everybody, all the gardening channels are all up on oh, now we got to register our garden, and this is the end, and they want to make us eat bugs and all of this. No, the question is not, how are we going to organize protest? That's not the question at all, because we're not going to do that, actually. Instead, what we're going to do is just carry on doing what we do anyways. We're just not going to do that. We're not going to register anything. We're not going to eat the bugs, okay? We're not going to go along with your little plan that you guys got in a club and stuff. You're in a club, we get it, but that's just not going to be my reality. I absolutely refuse in any way whatsoever. And so that's no longer a concern, yes? And if more people did this, I think there's a term for it, peaceful I forget, something non-compliance, but we're not going to riot or anything. It doesn't take that. It just takes everyone going, wait a second. No, we're not doing that. We're just going to go about our life letting the heart energy guide us. So once you step out of the way, then you also realize that the energy, the infinite energy that is always moving and flowing and taking different forms, it can take any form. It can take any form. And so the question, so then if we're living from the heart, then why are you still got 20-year food storage? If you watch my video on the gardening channel about how to store food for 20 years, yes, I've done that, of course, because the heart energy told me to do that, because I was compelled to do that, because we're not burying our head in the sand. If you think that that's what waking up and letting the heart guide you means, then you can rest assured that's still from the ego mind. That's still from the standpoint of the ego mind, the slave and the enslaver. And so when we awaken to the heart energy, we can be compelled to do any other kind of thing. Yes, peaceful non-compliance, that's what we'll call it. You don't have to make a big show out of it and stuff and say, no, I stand for this and I'm fighting against this, because that's still the ego mind is still saying, no, we got to take a stand and fight against this. And okay, but we don't really. we just peacefully go about our life anyways and do what the heart energy is telling us to do, which has nothing to do with the World Economic Forum plan. And here's the secret, guys, is that they can only accomplish that if we help bring it about, by worrying about it, by focusing on it every waking second. We got to watch Canadian Prepper. How many of you guys know Canadian Prepper? I mean, good information and stuff, but man, the guy is really capitalizing on the fear, mongering. I stopped watching his videos a long time ago, but, constant headlines every day. This is it. Kiss your loved ones goodbye. World War III is here. The nukes are on their way. What? I mean, how many times can you say that? And he gets 250,000 views within like 10 hours, and he releases a video every day. So people are all about, oh my gosh, what's next? What thing is next? What's going to happen to us? Because they want to know more and more about what the plan is and stuff. But you're helping inadvertently bring that into this realm. Instead, we cast aside the whole thing. You need to know enough, though. You do need to know enough. So people that are totally asleep, they don't even understand any of this. They don't understand that there is a plan that is guiding. They don't understand that there are people that are manipulating your perceptions and thus manipulating your behavior. You remember the analogy that I always use of the sea turtle in determining human behavior has very little to do with the truth. It has everything to do with the perception of the truth. And where does the perception come from? It comes from the information that has been received. It comes from the information that has been received. So what does that mean, guys? And how, so human behavior is determined by the perception of the truth. Remember, there's a tribe in the South Pacific. I'll just say it again. There's a tribe in the South Pacific that believes that if they steal food from one another, a giant iridescent sea turtle will strike them dead. And so, therefore, they don't steal anything from each other. Now, does the truth matter in this when determining their behavior? Does the truth being, of course, there is no giant iridescent sea turtle that's striking them down? No, that doesn't matter at all when dictating their behavior. All that matters is that they perceive that as true. That they perceive that as true. So perception dictates human behavior. And where does perception come from? From the information the person has received. Okay? So what does that mean? You guys all know, for example, the story of Romeo and Juliet. Yes? So, there's a big conflict between the families and stuff, and then the friar and Juliet, make a plan, all right? And Juliet fakes her death. But Romeo never got the memo. Romeo, the information he received was that she was dead. So based upon his information received, his perception was that she was dead, and that dictated his behavior. He then killed himself in the story of Romeo and Juliet. So it came, but where did his perception come from? Not from the truth that she faked her death so that they could be together. No, it came from the information he received, which was that Juliet's dead. So did you see what I mean? This is very important to understand, because that begins to show us, how are the perceptions being manipulated? For the first time in recorded human history, now we have the capabilities technologically to show the same images to the masses, to millions upon millions of people. We've never had this technology in recorded history, this capability. And then you say, okay, well, yeah, but you're in Belgium and you're in France and I'm in America, so we're getting totally different sources of information. Of course, we're getting because what's happening in the world is reported on by the news outlets and the media, and then they show us. That's how it works, right? No, this is a conditioned belief from movies and stuff like this, okay? That's not actually how it works, okay? And what I mean by condition from movies, guys, think about like the Superman movies, for example. When something happens, everybody turns on the news. They turn on the news and everyone's watching it, and it's exactly what's happening. oh, didn't you see what's happening live? And then Clark Kent goes out there and he rips off, and then all of a sudden Clark's on the news because it's just live showing you exactly what's happening. This is mental conditioning. This is the finest propaganda you can imagine. This is conditioning the subconscious to think the news is the truth. The news, reality. What I see on the television is reality. This is how it works. And so we've been conditioned for years to believe this. And so when we look deeper into this and we see, now wait a second, okay, so you're in France, you're in Belgium, you're in South Africa. We're getting all these different takes on what is happening. But if you've done any level of research into things like Project Mockingbird or any level of, even the slightest level of research now, you will see that this is in fact not the truth. This is the illusion that they want to give to people. But when you go, okay, well, who owns? You always have to invest. Who owns these things? Okay, well, you see that there's, a couple of hundred different stations. Well, who owns these stations? Well, it's by a couple dozen different, conglomerates. Okay, these are corporations. Now, who owns those corporations? You go up higher and you say, okay, wait. At the highest, we say, wait a second. 3 main companies, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, they pretty much own majority shares of all the media companies in the world. That should give you goosebumps right now. These 3 companies own all of what is being pumped out into the perceptions. And then if you investigate even further, you will see that who owns these companies. And you look, who's the majority shareholders of BlackRock and Vanguard? It's State Street and Vanguard. They own each other. They're the majority shareholders of each other. And you say, okay, so who's at the very top of that? Unknown. Okay. So just keep following it, guys, and you can you can show yourself, you can see, wow. So there's an entity. We'll just call the unknown, we'll just call it the entity. It could be many different names. We don't know. We're not meant to know. And so that they feed out information to all the different sources, news sources, and this gets into the mind of the people. Project Mockingbird, look it up on YouTube. For sure, you've seen that one just of American television where it shows dozens and dozens and dozens and then hundreds of different news sources all saying the same thing. Yeah, all saying the same thing. That, and this is a direct threat to our democracy, and this is a direct threat to our democracy. And they're all saying the same exact thing because that's how it works, because they have to implant the same perceptions into people. This is how it works. So let us read some of the comments here. Yes, Stephanie Stevens. In the quantum field, we are all one. No separation. That's exactly right. There is no separation of any kind. From beings, also from things, from nothing. Space and time. Yes, Ms. T, she's feeling it, definitely. Sabrina says, fear-mongering is so rampant and dangerous. Yes, definitely, so rampant. Because then they get you to lower the vibration. They get you to think and believe that they can actually control your life, which they can only control your life if you believe that you can, or if they can convince you to believe that. But so back to the question from Bulgaria. My friend says, okay, then how is it if you're living from the heart that you are still stockpiling food? Because the energy can take any form. This is what is so beautiful. The energy can take any form. That it doesn't matter. You don't have to anymore think about what is the right form, what is the right course of action. No, you're led by the heart. It says, hey, you better stockpile some food. At least some 5-gallon buckets full of beans, rice, lentils, the good stuff. And so then you do that. And if you feel like you need some protection, if the heart energy says, hey, you better be able to protect your stuff because we don't know what's coming, okay? Not a problem. I got that. Become proficient with using the protection. I mean, we're very lucky in America that we have this right. And so exercise that right. And so it seems contradictory if you're still from the thinking mind, the ego mind. Well, if you're living from the heart energy, if you're really letting the heart guide you, then why do you carry self-protection? Then that seems contradictory. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Because that's what the heart is guiding me to do. Because it can take any different form, and it's not attached to the fear. That's the goal. That's the main thing. That's the number one thing. The difference that two people might be doing the same thing, storing food, some ammunition, some water, getting a water filtration system, very good. Absolutely practicing skills, all of this stuff you gotta know. Okay, there's that, but then there's the person that is doing it, still identified with the thinking mind, the ego mind that is trapped in the realm of fear. And then it's doing the similar things with a totally different experience, a whole different quality. They're full of fear. They're saying, well, the impending doom is coming, so I've got to stockpile food, and now I got to get ammunition, and now I got to, and then this is going to happen. And it weighs on their heart. It weighs on their chest. It weighs on their life, and it manifests itself in a myriad of ways, negative ways. It manifests itself as a physical illness. It can manifest itself as troubled relationships in your life. It can manifest in so many different ways. And when that has happened, they have won. They are controlling your life. So you can't look only at the outward situation and say, well, but you're stocking food. You've got food stores and stuff. So you must not believe in the heart energy. No, it's not like that at all. Because that does not, we're not talking about, like Gandhi, that I don't subscribe to the same thing. Just let anybody do, I'm not saying that's what Gandhi did, but there's not the pacifist, just total nonviolence. Let anything happen to you, whatever happens. I'm living from the heart. I got my head buried in the sand. Absolutely not. The heart energy, guys, true spiritual energy is fierce. It is fierce and full of strength and power. It is not sitting quietly, letting everything happen to you. No, because it's not guided by anger and fear and attachment to this realm. It's guided by something so much greater. And so you have access to real power. And so true spirituality is like being on fire. It's like having a raging inferno in your heart that feels amazing. So, yes, guys, yes. Rambet says, life doesn't happen to me, I happen to life. That's right. I like that perspective. Yes, Sabrina says, heart energy is fierce, but it's not motivated by fear. Exactly. Anything that is motivated by fear is not the heart energy. It is of the mind, and it is trapped in this realm of delusions. Realm of delusions. It is trapped there. And so the whole ticket is to go within and to purify your heart, to purify your intentions. And allow. Yes, Ms. T says, infinite spirit, infinite wisdom. Yes, allow yourself to be guided by this. But what does that mean? You have to shut off the influx of infotoxins. You have to shut this off. You can't be constantly up on Canadian prepper videos trying to see what's next, what's going to happen in World War III, what's going to happen in here and there in Ukraine, but then, oh wait, not Ukraine anymore, but now Israel and Gaza, okay, but then what about elections, and then what about There's no end. They're trying to keep your mind fractured. You got to take back the power. You got to take back the power. And the only way to do this is to cut off the source of the poison. That's where it starts. And I know the ego mind, the thinking mind is going to say, but I got to know. I got to know what's next. What's going to happen to us? No. You have to have a base level of understanding. You have to have a base grip on what is happening. Basically, everything I just said in this video is enough for you. If you research a little bit into those things, that's enough for you to know, okay, well, we need to prepare in some way. But we don't need to constantly be, because then it becomes another activity of the ego mind, because the ego mind wants to research, okay, what is going to happen to us, and then the fear that it feels, and then the experience. The ego mind doesn't care. Listen, the ego mind does not care if it is a positive expression of ego, meaning inflated expression of ego. I am grandiose. I am everything. I am so great and cool. Or if it's a belittlement of itself. I'm just a tiny little person in this world, and I don't have any power. And what is going to happen to us? And I wish. Okay, so I'm just going to love my cat and just focus on just being happy. But that's all a lie you're telling to yourself, because you don't believe that. You don't feel that. So the ego doesn't care if it's grandiose or belittlement. Either way, it's getting its sense of separation. Either way, it's getting the sense of separation. And that's all it needs. Ooh, Aaron Johnson says, we were on our way to see our new land, or what will be our land. Driving down to Sadiesville, Kentucky, I felt light at heart and like I was going home. Uppsala. Yes, definitely nice. Creating your own Valhalla. This is what we'd like to hear, my friend. Papa MacMuffin says, it would be interesting to look into the company that people use to prep. I feel like this fear-mongering is being used to guide people in a certain way. You can absolutely guarantee it's being used to guide people in a certain way. And I'm just, let us use Canadian Prepper, for example, because he's like the most well-known prepper. He's constantly coming out with this doom, this fear. He even calls it, he says, okay, guys, now to your daily dose of doom and gloom. Let's get right into it. There's a lot happening right now. And he's got this big war board. It looks like a movie. He's got this huge board with all these moving pieces, and he's reporting back from the front lines and everything. And he's got real serious, and he's got guns in the background, or he's got all kinds of stuff. So, okay, we get it, guys. We get it, my friend, that you're a prepper. Okay, we got it. Now, then you look deeply and you say, oh, wait, he's actually got a store, like a major. Then you look at the background. Oh, you're actually in your warehouse, your massive warehouse where you house all the stuff for your thriving, obviously multi-million-dollar business that you are selling all these prepper items. Okay, so now we begin to see, you always have to investigate further like that and look into that kind of stuff. People trying to sell stuff. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that. I'm not even against what he's doing, because people are getting off on it, in some way. They're loving it. They're okay. Oh no, what's going to happen to little me? So fear. And they read, oh, what's going to happen next? And guys, you got to step out of that, because there's a whole nother realm of peace and beauty and serenity that is existent even amidst the chaos. The chaos has absolutely nothing. The chaos can never penetrate the stainless beauty of your ultimate true self reality. No amount of chaos has anything to do, can even touch in any way the stillness. Because even the chaos is a part of all that is. Even the chaos, even the World Economic Forum people, even the Soros and the people controlling those people that are totally behind the scenes that you would never even recognize, which is the people with the real power. Even those people are all a part of the mind of God. There is nothing separate, cannot be separate. So this is only a temporary experience. It's only a temporary manifestation of the one infinite self. See what I mean? It can appear as anything. It can appear as any form because it's wild and free. This energy is absolutely boundless to be whatever it wants. The totality of all things. That's its nature, is to create. And so it can be anything. It can present itself as the Soros and of the Illuminati. It can present itself as the, if you go way out there, as the reptilian shapeshifters and all that kind of stuff. It's all, even if that was even a reality, it's all still part of the one, inseparable from the one love that you are a part of. Jenny Grubb says, I survived a narcissistic marriage of 25 years. It has taken me 2 years, but every day is better. And finding this channel is a godsend. I'm very happy you're here, my friend. Definitely. Definitely. Because we can learn. We can say, okay, there was 25 years. 25 years. But I no longer have to carry the weight of any of that. Because it's gone. It's gone now. And by coming to the present moment and living from the now instead of from the mind that is in the past, thinking, oh, what has he done to me? And all of this other things that happened, we just drop the whole identity in the now. And we're unbelievably weightless and free. So Sabrina says, information has been monopolized, and those who control information control our lives through perception. Yes, this is exactly, that's a summary, a paraphrasing of exactly what we said, what we're saying here. Yes, Pam, confusion is separation. There is one consciousness. Go within. Absolutely. It's the paradox, though. When we talk about separation, we could talk about apparent separation. It's all apparent because ultimately there is no separation. There never has been. There's never at any point been two totalities of all that is. How many infinites can there be? A lot of people say, well, God is infinite and the mind of God, God's love is infinite. Okay. Well, how many infinites can there be? By definition, there can only be one infinite anything, because where would one infinite boundary bump up against another infinite boundary? Not possible, guys. This is already infinite. All things are only in the one. It doesn't matter if the thinking mind of the human tries to separate it into thinking that, well, we have to break through the separation. It's only an illusion. It was never there in the first place. That's the only thing that needs to be realized. Yes. Matthias says, maybe seeing life as a great adventure instead of a dead serious life and dead thing. Absolutely. As a living, expressing thing. As an energy. I felt this when I left traveling. If you guys watch the Travel Like a Viking channel, then you will see the spirit got up in me for sure. And the spirit, the energy wanted to express, and it wanted to experience in life. It wanted to experience as many different things as possible. The spirit got up in me and said, man, we're not just going to work at this factory for the rest of our life. That is not, this incarnation is not, that's not what's in store for us. We are going to go out and into the world and play. We're going to experience in the most unbelievably playful way. Even the dark times, looking back now, were full of playfulness, like a childlike innocence, even the dark times. And so, yes, the life is a living, breathing, growing thing. It is like the most beautiful flower that you've ever seen. It is not stagnant and still and heavy and a struggle. That's people's belief about it. But you don't have to have that belief whatsoever. So, hello Fabrizio, good to see you. Yes. Brian A. Rees says, the Viking has helped me to let go of the past that was holding me back. Thank you, my Viking friend. Yes, you're welcome, my friend. Definitely. Yes, the past. The past is, oh man. If people realize this, and I say this often, but it's so true. The past is we're lugging it around, all these things that happened, all these experiences, we're lugging it around. But when we begin to live in the now, we see, wait a second, if I step out of the cycle of thought, where is the past? Where is the past? If you're not thinking about it, where is the past? And even if you are thinking about it, when are you doing that thinking? Now? Yes. It's a total psychological warp when we begin investigating these things. And we see we've been lugging this thing around 25, 45, 70 years. We've been lugging around this past and all these things that happened to me or didn't happen to me. All these regrets of a life that I just didn't really live. And now I'm 70 years old and now I'm in the sunset of my life. I've got maybe 30 years left and oh man, and I burned all the bridges of my life and everything. See, you can just keep lugging that around as long as you want. Or you can realize the truth. Wait a second. And you can drop it. And you can become weightless. And you can begin to live in the presence of God. That's one way to put it. In the now. And the rest of, even if you're 70, the next 30 years can be phenomenal. You can live a lifetime still. So long as you're alive, you still have time. Time, you know what I'm saying. But also likewise, the young people have an equally heavy burden of the future. What am I going to do with my life? Okay, I'm 20 years old. What am I going to do with my life? What if I make the wrong choice? Who am I going to end up with? What kind of partner am I going to end up with? And how are we going to get a house? Not with these interest rates. We're not going to get a house. I'm not going to own anything, and I'm going to have to eat bugs. That's an equally heavy burden of the future, and that happens to young people, especially nowadays. We can also let go of that one. So, guys, all right. Yes, Jerry says, I fell into news addiction during COVID, so now to overcome it today. Absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. We have to cut it off. We have to cut it off. You have to cut off the influx of poison if there's going to be healing. Yeah. Donald Hughes says, is Buddha mind control real? Want to get rid of diabetes. Is this possible? Getting rid of diabetes is absolutely possible. I know this to be true. Yes. Now, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Buddha mind control, but it is absolutely true through accessing the power of the subconscious mind. But how does this actually happen? It's not like a miraculous, just, the angels come down and it's a miracle, I'm healed of my diabetes. No, it's going within, reprogramming the subconscious mind, rewriting the program, putting in different code into the program so that then you will have a different image of reality. And then that image of reality will dictate your behavior. And then you will be led to certain things like the master cleanse. You will be led to the knowledge that you need in order to make the right food choices, in order to do the right physical things, in order to have the right thoughts and mentality to make this become a reality. And that's how the Buddha mind control would heal your diabetes. It's not a big miracle that just like a magic trick. That doesn't happen. That's not how energy works in this realm. But it does work in the way that it will guide you to all the things you need to make that a reality. This is the truth. So again, we have to go within. We have to go within. Sam Potzik says, those bugs are starting to sound a little appetizing, Nate. I know. And I mean, I've eaten bugs in Thailand and stuff. Trish says, depends on the type of diabetes, I would think. Yeah, we're not talking about type 1 diabetes, but even that, I don't know. I I'm convinced the power of the mind can control that as well. Yes. But you have to go deep and reprogram the subconscious. It's not just telling yourself, I'm going to heal my diabetes. I'm going to heal my diabetes. No, it's way deeper than that. You have to do the practices. You have to do the work, and then it will work for you. So, okay, guys. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this discussion. I love the participation from everyone. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you guys are watching this after the fact, leave it in the comments what you've got out of this, what you have experienced, your thoughts, or if you have future topic suggestions. I think that next week we should go back to doing the next chapter in the Power of Now. Yes, I think we should go back to that. What do you guys think for next week? Unless there was some other pressing, really good thing that would come up, but we should go on to the next chapter, which I'm not sure which is the next chapter, 5 or 6. What chapter are we on? If you guys know. So what's up, my friends? Something clever. Yes, you should go back and watch this one because it is a great one, guys. This was really good exchange of energy. Hogue says, thanks for being good to us, Nate. Absolutely, my friend. I couldn't even conceive of any other way. And Matias says, can you program to not need sleep? That's a very interesting thing. Sleep. Sleep is very remarkable. We should have a whole section sometime on sleep. Because sleep is the one thing that if we do not have it, well, not the one thing, but it is something that if we do not have sleep, we will die. But what happens during sleep? We don't plug into anything. So what is happening during sleep? Now, scientists will try and say all the physical things that are happening, but that's just a small part of it. What happens during sleep is you dissolve back into the one infinite consciousness. Nothing exists in sleep. Everything is in a perfect state of peace. Think of this. The thinking mind wants to think, when I say that, the thinking mind wants to think of annihilation. Oh no, emptiness. No, peace. Sleep is so peaceful. Think of how amazing and wonderful it is to go into sleep. Deep sleep, restorative sleep. And when you're in sleep, what's your experience of the World Economic Forum? What's your experience even of yourself or of your loved ones? Nothing. It's absolute blissful annihilation. We have to go back to this every so often. Otherwise, this organism will leave this realm. So we could go into that much deeper. So Jody K, I would still really like to have the topic of fear versus intuition. That's a great topic, and I know I've said that we're going to do that before, and we actually will do that. Let's do a Power of Now next week, and then fear versus intuition. This is a wonderful topic. I think we could definitely do that. So remind me that we've said that. I'll write it down as well. B. Hendricks says, right before bedtime, it's time to prime your heart and mind. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. So when I was coming out of the darkness, I had to use that time period. I recorded myself saying affirmations, certain things, and I would play it to myself as I fell asleep. And I would play it back to myself as I fell asleep. Yeah. And I was in a bad state at that time. But still, something was like, help is on the way. Light is on the way. Don't worry. Just hold tight. And here we are. So, okay, guys, it's chapter 5 next week. All right, Aaron says chapter 5. Okay, that's what we will be doing, guys. So, yeah, and this Friday will be another Travel Like a Viking video. So I got it completed, but I'm just going to schedule it for Friday because there was so much. This one's like a 20-minute one because there was so much activity. I rode on another guy's motorcycle for the first time in my life through Vietnam. We had all different kinds of experiences. We went from Da Lat to Nha Trang in Vietnam. And so you'll get to see the whole trip. There are tons of videos and pictures from that trip. That's why it took so long, but it's going to be a good one. So watch that video, comment on it. We want to try and grow that channel. Also, we want to grow this channel in whatever way possible. So, okay, guys, thank you very much for being here. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say.